live yet? Yep, we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Southern Komfort Podcast. I'm your host, Keeta King. If this is, I feel like whatever, every time I say this, I feel like I'm at church saying, if this is your first time visiting Moss Temple Church of the Living God, don't let it be your last. Like, that's what I feel like I'm doing every time I want to say this. But if this is your first time visiting the Southern Komfort Podcast, don't let it be your last. Okay. I'm not taking up an offering or anything like that. Nonetheless, I do want you to come back, and I also want you to make sure you subscribe to the Southern Komfort Podcast YouTube channel and to the Facebook page and the Instagram page, of course. It's Comfort with a K, like K for Keeta. So it's Southern Komfort Podcast. Also, I want to say, and you'll really get a feel for that this month. Yes, the podcast is heavily music based, but it's not solely about music. If you know my background, then you understand where the music aspect come from a business standpoint. And if you know my personal background, you know where the music comes from the Southern Soul Blues aspect. However, being from the South, being a woman who raised kids in the South, who was raised by folks in the South, I love the things that we have here, and I don't feel like I don't feel like we toot our horns enough. So yes, while it is very heavily Southern Soul music based, it is not just about Southern Soul. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to come in and hang out with me. Let's see. Okay, so I don't know how many followers I have who are kind of getting into the whole healthy eating, healthy living type thing. I'm really proud of our people for honing in so much on mental health, which is good because that's something that has been lacking for generations. We just really didn't pay that a whole lot of attention. But we're also paying attention to our physical health. We're also making sure that we watch what we put into our bodies, and we're making sure that it's more organic, or it's vegan, or it's whether you're vegan, pescatarian, or whatever. I'm super excited because next week, Twisted Fork food truck in Alabama, they're gonna come on, and they are straight healthy. Now, I love a food truck. Okay, I love a food truck. I love to eat off the truck, and I want various things. They probably don't even make no sense. I want the deep fried Oreos that I don't need. I want the funnel cake or the turkey leg, whatever the case may be. What everything that they have is healthy. Everything. It's extremely healthy. It's one of those. It's like a regular food truck. It's just that they actually have, like CBD oils. Everything is natural. Everything's organic. Everything is vegan. And if you are in pursuit of that type of lifestyle, then you definitely want to make sure that you tune in. Shout out to Desiree, and she will join us. And it's just gonna be a very. I feel like it's gonna be. It's not only is gonna be interesting and entertaining, but more than anything, I want it to be educational. All right. Again, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, and to Instagram. And let's get our numbers up. It's the Southern Komfort Podcast, and I'm Keeta King. Shout out to DJ Godfather. He was on a podcast, the Kevin Young show. He was on K Young show. Shout out to him. He came on and represented Magic 93.3. If you know anything about me, I was PD there. And it was good to see the radio station at least acknowledged or at least represented, being that it hasn't been since I left. So I was glad to see him there. Shout out to Godfather too for making sure that he got on there and talked a bit about DJing and what the radio station is doing, and the app, and terrestrial radio versus internet. We don't talk about that enough, especially as radio people. So shout out to you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way and introduce my guest. Oh, so for those of you who saw the the promotion or whatever in regard to Young God, let me speak on his defense. In his defense, rather, he was supposed to be here today, and he, due to some situations that really beyond his control, he was unable to make it. and he sends his regard. And I was able to grab somebody. I was already going to grab him. Let me just say that. I was already going to grab him. And when I talked to him today, it just seemed to work, especially being that he is a teacher. He educates our youth. And you can only get him for a certain amount of time. However, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, he finds it in his schedule, his time, and his heart to make sure that he brings us great music. And he is a very dynamic voice. And I told him I wasn't going to talk to y'all a long time before I brought him on. So he's backstage probably right now, like, come on. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Keeta? Anyway, so nonetheless, with no further ado, I want to bring on a new up and coming artist who has like I said, an immaculate voice. It's a memorable voice. If that makes any sense to the people, the music lovers, the music listeners. He has a very memorable voice, and we'll explain once I get him on here how I know about him, and it'll all make sense in just a minute. But with no further ado, let me bring on Mr. Cameron Foster. Cameron.
Hello. How y'all doing?
What not during? What is it?
I can't call it. Just
how are you?
I'm good. Glad to be in the land of the living. So
you hear me? Exactly. Peace be unto you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Peace be unto you. We were talking just right before the show, and I was telling you, like, literally,
yeah,
this is an impromptu show.
Mm-hmm.
And the what would you say? I can't call it weird, but I'll say maybe the Gemini in me, maybe the radio person in me kind of thrives on this. And really it scratches the itch that I haven't experienced in a long time, having not actually been live on radio.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's make it do what we do.
Yeah.
So let me tell you this. I give this disclaimer to everybody. May have already told you this earlier today. We're going to have a conversation, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What we're gonna do, we'll have a conversation. We're gonna let the world eavesdrop on it. Those who are here, and we ain't gonna alter nothing, tailor nothing. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. So you're right.
All right. So like I was telling them earlier, I had a young guy and shout out to young guy, by the way. He really on because young guy, right?
Yeah. I will tapped in a few conversations, man. Good guy.
Yeah.
Like I say, good guy, good music, good person.
He's doing this thing. He just released on July 1st, Back Outside. Make sure you check that out. It's if you back outside, then
Yeah, like he's one of the main people like that I bought. Like I said, I'm new. Of course, we'll get into it. I'm new to Southern Soul, just almost a year in, and so as far as the new people that's coming up, the sound that I've been digging, he one of the top cats. So shout out to young guy.
Shout out to young guy. I told him, and we're gonna get off him, but I want to say, like, I told him when I first listened to his music, I brought him on the show back in February, and I told him, I said, in Southern Soul, you pretty much know you're gonna get some moonshine, somebody is cheating, you're gonna get a two-step, you're gonna get a juke joint, you're gonna get those things are to be expected, but he comes with lyrics that are at this point unparalleled. I'm just gonna be 100 about it. Like he brings this dynamic to the game that I feel like it needs a freshness.
Yeah.
I read the fresh air, so shout out to him. Now let's talk about you. All right.
Okay.
You're from Arkansas. Where?
I'm from Marlton, Arkansas. Marlton.
Now, where is it?
It's a small town. A lot of times we say Little Rock just to catch people, to make you more familiar, but it's probably 40 minutes away from Little Rock. So
in proximity to Texarkana, where is it?
We looking at like 2.5 hours. Yep.
So what's the population there?
I really ain't sure, but it's probably like 8,000 somewhere in there.
Oh, it's a smaller.
Small. And if anybody from the career watching, if I'm wrong, oh well. but it ain't a lot.
If he's wrong, just put it in the comments.
Put it come if somebody it's 14,000 now, Cam. My bad. Well, 14.
No,
I mean,
14,051. Get it right, Cam.
right.
But no,
But yeah.
okay, so I get it. I was I was PD at a station called Magic 93.3 in Texarkana. You know, Texarkana flirts between, well, it don't flirt. It's actually married to both Texas and
Right.
You know, so but I always lived on the Arkansas side, went to Texarkana saying, oh, I'm gonna, I'm gonna live in Texas. I'm gonna move to Texas. No, well, Arkansas is the more affordable side of 30.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know, for those of you who may be entertaining the house,
just get on the Arkansas side. You can still hit the slab. I got you.
Yeah, and then too, like Arkansas has law, like their liquor and their alcohol laws are different. So if you're in Arkansas on a Sunday, and you want to grab something like some wine or some beer for the football game or whatever, don't even worry about your name.
Yeah, it's over with. Yeah.
It's a wrap. But if you live in Texas, if you live in Texarkana, rather, you just hop across state line. For my TK people who on this live or would join it, you know what I'm talking about. You just hop across state line and you go to the Walgreens or whatever, and then you're good to go.
Good. Everybody on Saturday, we do all y'all that Saturday night. You drink the last of what you got, hey. If you're in that area, you
Yeah, we better hop across that state line. So, all right, so let's talk about you're a teacher, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which is what I do now.
Yes, ma'am. It's just yes.
I feel you, but I got you. It's that Southern. It's that for us.
Oh, I know.
I
know. I'm the same way. I didn't. You never think you'll get to the point where you can be like,
it make you feel some type of way.
I'm here. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your background, and I want to tell the people before you even get started that you remember a couple of weeks ago, because I did take a couple of weeks off. I had some family stuff going on. Took a couple of weeks off. I had Papa Hussein on, and we introduced his music, which I thought was so dynamic because he's not known for Southern soul.
Right.
And so when he came, when I came into the knowledge of that, I was like, whoa there, like what? Like I lit. So he's actually on the single Miss Good Thing, which was released on July 4th, right? Or July.
Yes.
Yeah. And so so that's kind of how I came into the knowledge. I won't even pretend that I even knew prior to, but when I heard your voice, I was like, I need to know who he is.
Right.
I need to know who he is. So tell us who you are.
I dig it. Now, so I'm one of those who've had that soulful voice, of course, from early on, but just finding my way. So I come from the church, come from the church background. I was the little kid singing with the men choir, the men male chorus.
Oh, you had that kind of voice.
Yeah, I was one of them. And so, but at the time though, what's crazy about it, my voice began to, like, even when I made all region one year. First couple of years it was tenor, then I made it as bass, and I'm like, bass. I wasn't realizing my voice was changing, but I was so used to, because in the singing with the men, I always was singing the high pitch or whatever. So I was thinking that's just something I do. That's a part of what my voice is gonna be. But I learned, I got a little puberty hit. Then when you walk in the house and your mama like, boy, well, you think you grown because your voice deep. I had that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just singing in the church. And then of course high school rap group, one of those who were doing hooks for the homies and just making music with the homeboys. But then went to college, got in the mindset of like, I'm gonna start doing my own music. So I started making my own music. So R&B, hopped into R&B, but to speed it up to Southern soul, a lot of people here lately, like King George came out, because to be honest, I was big on Johnny Taylor, a lot of the old school cats. I wasn't as tuned in to everybody in Southern soul now, but of course King George did some different things in the game, right? So people would be like, man, that sounds like you need to do Southern soul. So the past year and a half, people have been pushing me to be a part of Southern soul. So I was like, I understand. And as I begin to tune in more, I'm like, this undertone gospel anyway. If you look at it a certain way,
you get
yep.
like you get like quartet vibes as well, especially coming from the church. You're gonna be able to recognize that more so than somebody who may not necessarily be from church.
From the church, right.
You're gonna recognize those male chorus, those quartet vibes. Is that what attracted you?
It wasn't I wouldn't say attracted me. It was almost like a comfortability. It was like this. It feels right. So once I made a few songs, I was like, it plays on the sound of like, you know how you can be singing songs that ain't for you, and the more you sing, when you're singing songs that are not for you, you make it have a good voice, and that's one of the things I like to watch. You can have a good voice, you can sing, but a lot of times people are singing in octaves in ways where it's not what's fitting for you. And so when people were saying what they said, and I tapped in, I'm like, this is more fitting for me. I can lay in it more. You can really grasp the sound of my voice. And so
if you right now had to choose between, if someone said, you know what, you can straight do R&B if you want to, because you do give me those vibes. There are people, and I'm just gonna say it because it's the truth, and whoever listen, y'all know it's the truth too. There are people who are in, Southern soul, and there's some who are in R&B, I'm sure as well, who don't necessarily have the voice, and that you just have such I'll say you don't, and not saying that you sound like Anthony Hamilton, so don't nobody misquote me on that. But you have a depth to your voice.
Yeah.
You do, to where like you it feel like you're bringing it from here. Like it feels like you're bringing it from here. So if someone was to say to you, okay, all right, Cam, you can do Southern soul or you can do R&B, what would you choose? Or would you choose? Come on.
Well, what I also do is I'll speak and I'll use the titles they give stuff, but for me personally, there's no limitation. Like doing music for me is just expressing myself. So granted, if somebody says they're going to put some money behind R&B or something like that, it will make me maybe change, alter something. But for the most part, I am R&B, I am Southern soul, because there's no barrier to the sound of a person's voice. A lot of times we say Southern soul, but and I get it. I see, but I'm also somebody who's not trying to see as well, because I'm gonna make good music, and if it doesn't catch Southern soul and it catches R&B, for me that's just what it is.
I think that's the key.
For real.
Now, and I think that is the key that has moved music and allowed music and artists to cross over. When they say crossover, meaning it could cross over from R&B to top 40s, or that's radio talk, but it could cross from, when it comes down to like just throwing it out there, cross over from R&B. For instance, Aerosmith and Run DMC, had they never did that collaboration, we really would have known how great of a marriage rap and rock could be.
Real talk, for real.
It takes people like that to come, like you, like Papa Hussein, like like Young Guy, to present that. You know what I mean? Because everybody is, and I'm sure there are others. So don't inbox me and say I missed somebody, because I'm just throwing it out there. Like it takes those type of that type of boldness, and it takes that type of, like you said, I'm not willing to just necessarily fit in a box. It takes those type artists to come out and help genres expand and help illuminate like the listeners, the people who love just good music. I listen. If you were at my house, you may get up in the morning and I may be listening to country. You get up here, I may be listening to Southern soul. I don't I go with whatever my spirit feel at the time. It may be gospel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't have to choose, and being that you have artists like yourself who are okay with blurring the line, it just opens up for more goodness.
Yeah, that's dope.
For lack
Yep.
of a better term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's dope. Yep. You're right. Cause my thing is, let's say I make a Southern Soul song that everybody love and they fall in love with it, and then I make a country song. If you were to stop loving me because I made a song out of the genre, I don't want you as a fan. If that's how you move, I would just say, well, just wait till I make the next Southern Soul song, and then I'll be back for you. But
But
that's
you
how I
have
gotta
to,
see it.
as an artist, and I'm sorry to cut you off,
Nah, yeah, you good.
but as an artist, you have to have that I don't care.
Yeah.
You have to have that because um just having not only just, Southern Soul, the podcast is like a year old.
Yeah.
And I've met some characters. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say that. But you have to have that I'm gonna do me. And I'm gonna do what feels good to me in hopes that you like it.
Right.
But if for whatever reason you don't, it's okay because I'll spin the block. I'm sure I'll make something you do like at some point in
Yeah.
time. But you have to have that because one, it's a small industry,
Yeah.
and everybody cares about what everybody is doing, and everybody has a critique about this and a critique about that. So you have to be very confident and strong in yourself to branch out, over here. Okay, so let me ask you. Well, actually,
What you
how
got?
did you and Papa Hussein meet?
All right. So Papa Hussein's manager, Rod D. Shout out to Rod D as well.
Shout out to Rod.
Yeah, yeah. So I know Rod D through the engineer producer he uses, Don Key, Grammy nominated Don Key, Don Damn Key. Shout out to him, Arkansas.
I'm
So
trying. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know. I don't know if I. Anyways, I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
got you. Yeah, you just
I
picked
digress. Go ahead.
I'm with you, big producer here in Arkansas. So
Okay.
Rod D had a song the song he made about his mom's passing and his friend, Freak, who passed. He needed some harmony, some singing on the track, and so they called me. So I was blessed to be called for that opportunity. And so it's just one of those things how God blesses me when people hear my sound. They're like, man, I like that. It's
So
something about that sound.
let's bring your sound in now, and I'm gonna get to the
Mm-hmm.
comments in a minute. But I want to go ahead and play just a snippet of your verse on Miss Good Thing. Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right. So let's make that happen. Let's
Okay.
make it happen like right now. Hold on.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Back, give me 50 feet if you know what's good for you. I might like what I see, but baby, I ain't no fool. Even when it's early in the morning and the streets been calling my name. Late nights when I'm on the road, I make sure I stay in my lane. Listen, I know my baby's at home and she's waiting on me. And I can't wait to get there. It's exactly where I wanna be. I'm loving Miss Good Thing.
And that ain't never gonna change.
That's that voice that
Yeah.
made me say, I got to know to know who he is. And shout out to sorry y'all I spit, but shout out to Papa Hussein. Today's his birthday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Sure.
Yay, happy birthday to
Happy
him.
birthday, Papa. If you pop in, happy birthday, Papa.
Happy birthday. We do have some people here. Matter of fact, shout out to Omar Cunningham, the hit maker. He's on here. Also,
What's happening? Omar.
I'm sure you know who Omar is.
I know, yeah. I don't know him personally, but you know how you got to know who he is.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Omar wrote this. Okay, so Gerard Ware is here. Shout out to Gerard. Make sure you guys follow on the Floor podcast. Is that right? On the Floor podcast. Yes. It generates out of Texarkana. And matter of fact, I can show you some of this stuff as well. Let's see.
Okay,
That's Gerard
okay.
right here.
All right, all right. What's happening?
My
What's
God,
happening?
Mama is here. Hey, G Mama. Let's see. Gerard actually came back and said, "Don't limit yourself." Good stuff. Absolutely.
Right on, right on. Appreciate
I
you.
am, and I'm gonna pause that for a minute, and we're gonna keep going because I want to get into your teacher stuff and see how you manage being. Because I know that is a clearly a full-time job, but that is like a full-time and a half job in addition to this. But I want to say pause and talk about what Gerard said for a minute or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy because sometimes people want to put you in the box that they have to be in. You know what I mean? Like you have a very good voice. Can't nobody take that from you. I don't know if you write or any of that. And at the end of the day, that ain't why I reached out to you. I heard your voice. And I was just like, he has a very, very good voice. And maybe you do, and you can speak on it if you do. But it's crazy, you know, sometimes how I would tell anybody in this industry, especially in Southern Soul, if you can, you got the skills, you got the voice, you got the know-how, and more than anything, you got the heart. Do it on your own if you can.
Yeah.
Don't worry. At this point in time, you know, features are cool. I just don't know that Southern Soul is. I love Southern Soul music. I love blues music. That's why I love Southern Soul music, because of blues music. You talk about Johnny Taylor. It's just that you know, Southern Soul is the goal is to be mainstream, right? And the goal is to actually be considered a genre, but we gotta have that mindset.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And let people do them and let people be them. Think about rap if there was no Wale. Or if there wasn't a dang, what is my boy name? Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? There are lanes for people in Southern Soul, so that may not necessarily look like a Sir Charles, who is the king of Southern Soul.
Yeah, right.
It may not look like a Johnny Taylor. It may not look like a Omar or Tucker or, you know, King of Swing. It may not look like that, but that doesn't mean there's not room for you. So thank you, Gerard. We're on the same page in that regard. Let's see. I'm sure I missed somebody. Oh, there's my sister. She on here. Hey, Aisha. She said, "Oh, I love his voice."
Thank you, sister. Thank you so much.
And then my makeup artist, my right arm, she say assistant, but she's so much more than assistant. Miss Jackie Austin. She's on here. And
Jackie.
Also, yeah, Jackie, make sure you guys follow Chameleon Artistry. She transforms faces and spaces. Now, that ain't dope as hell. Like she can come in and do like a decor for your wedding or whatever, but she can also make you look good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dual threat.
Yeah, it's a win-win with her. I love Jackie. Always down to travel with me if I need her, whatever. And I had a lady on here who is normally not on here, but I can't find her right now. But I'm gonna come back to her. There's Jen Lee. Hey, you joined us. Glad you could join us. Now let's get back to the show. Okay, so let's talk about you being a teacher. What grade do you teach?
Fourth grade. Fourth grade this year. It was second grade last year.
Oh, so you don't have secondary. That would be not primary.
I'm in elementary.
Elementary. Yeah. How does that work for you?
I mean, it's fine. It's just,
I guess I should say.
You said what was the question again?
How do you like working with the younger kids?
Oh, I got you. I always held on, and God tests me, but I always try to say I'm a big kid. Now life has been challenging, but I hold on to that on purpose. And working with kids helps that. And the little ones have that light. And I'm big on. I was one. I had a lot of things I dealt with as a kid that is something in me who do not want. I'm passionate about seeing the kids not lose their light, and so it's just something I didn't go to school to be a teacher. At one point, I thought about it. I just moved in this way, but it's something I've always been passionate about kids. I always wanted to inspire. Singing coming up, people already looked at me as somebody for our community. So it's like I already had took the responsibility early on to be like, because my sister, she's passionate. She sings. She's 7 years older than me, to where she used to do pageants and she went to college and all that. So it's in me to know that we have responsibility. And so working with kids, it's fun for me. Now, like I say, you get a little older, you start getting to them attitudes, if you feel me. So I get to, and I've worked with some older kids. I've worked with middle school, but I'm just saying that to say I bypassed that. And so it's cool for me. And so one thing we're working with the school, it keeps me connected to creativity. I like the freshness, like kids are new to being creative. It keeps me fresh.
Keep you young, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So I just, like I said, I've worked a number of jobs when I got out of college, just finding my way. And like some music, I've always done music along the way. But I was going to get back to this because it was a teacher who was. I wasn't even going to college, but it was I had a speech teacher who inspired me. It just really gave me the encouragement to do something else with my life. My sister went to college; she helped too. But then I got a choir scholarship.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to it's in Arkansas. It's called Arkansas Tech University in Russellville.
Okay. Are you Greek?
Yes, I am Greek. Alpha Phi Alpha. Yeah.
You see me sitting up here with this shirt on. Like, clearly you see these colors. You see.
Yeah, I see you, sis. I ain't gonna say yes, ma'am. I should have been saying sis the whole time, huh? When I say I ain't, but I'm one of them. I ain't really wasn't paying attention. I just look. I just been here. I just been over here chilling. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
So now we're cooking with grease, because I'm really understanding even more. But go ahead as you were.
Yeah. What was I? I don't remember where I was.
Well, I'll tell you this. I commend you for wanting the smaller kids. I was in education. Too. I didn't want. I'm not wiping noses. I'm not taking you to the water fountain. I'm not doing any of that.
I don't know.
No, and then when it came, then when I got started, it was in middle school. Actually, it was 7th grade, and at that point we don't know what deodorant is. So it's like I don't know if I'm cut out for that either. I actually loved high school, and I worked with all the 50. I don't know what you call them in Arkansas, but in Texas they're 504 kids, the at risk kids or whatever. And I loved it because it worked for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It worked for me. So do you ever incorporate any of your singing in with the kids?
I have this thing where, yes, I do. But sometimes I try to.
What song do you sing?
Well, today? I don't, not like, before, I don't do, now I don't. I sing in class. I don't have anything that I have a certain specific song. I just do stuff when I teach my lesson. I literally, and that's the thing, like when you said do this on the spot, like I don't have my lesson plan or whatever, but when I'm going over stuff, I just sing random stuff. I do stuff that they just enjoy and they'll catch on. And like, I'll be like, let's see, find part 2 in your textbook. I said, fine, but I'm not ever just singing. I'll just do stuff like that to keep them going. But I keep my singing persona like down a little bit. Because like I like for people to genuinely still get me for me. So I don't do a lot of singing.
You don't do no singing.
I don't do no singing.
Well, and it's crazy because I am not a spring chicken. So in 1st grade, I remember my 1st grade teacher. I think I mentioned her a few times on the podcast. Her name is Miss Lawler. And that's like, I already knew, I went to school knowing a lot of stuff. But like, she made learning so interesting to me, for me rather, because she was able to incorporate singing into the months of the year and to, the phonics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Fine, yeah.
for things or whatever. So, but I'm sure they probably think you like the coolest teacher ever.
And that's what, and I'm one of them is like, they can't, my light is what it is. So it's like that they flock to me. And it's like, that's why and it's been that way even before I was a teacher. So that's why I know it's a responsibility. And I knew I was going to end up in a school, but I went to a school after working in mental health. Cause what really put it thick for me was that a lot of my clients, I was a case manager where I began to realize that the broken kid in a lot of people, everybody's broken. Everybody has trauma that they start out with that they don't know. And everybody just gets older. They don't ever realize they have things that they need to heal or fix or whatever.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I asked you that, I'm gonna be candid and we're gonna get back to the music, but the reason I asked you that is because I'm so proud of our race and I'm so proud of our culture for actually being open to talk about mental health and making it to where it's not a taboo thing. But I will be honest, with some of the younger generation, it has turned into a crutch. It has turned, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And I'm not trying to, by any means, deter anybody from exploring whatever they need to get to a healthy place mentally. But what I'm saying is having nieces, having, inherited nieces, having kids, the generation has gotten to a point to where it's like, you know what? The reason I did not, I'm just being funny, but make it to work on was because, you know what? When I was little, you didn't wake me up, or you know what I'm saying? So there's a healthy balance that needs to be struck there. So what is your regimen for that? Like, mental health is important, absolutely, but how do we bridge that gap when it comes down to excuses? Because I'm from the school of excuses. You know what I mean? Like, if you haven't been abused, if you haven't been neglected, physically, mentally, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is your regimen for that? And then I promise we'll get back to the music.
No, I'm with you. No, look, I speak my truth. From all the abuse, I mean, anything that you add in when it comes to abuse, even as a kid, I mean, I'm a part of all that. And I know a lot of my traumas come from people deaths and but I feel like from deaths early on in life, people who passed in my life. So what I'm getting at is I understand what you're saying, and even I don't use it as I've dealt with some mental battles that was tough. And even from having to get help, and I still recognize what you mean by as a crutch. And what I feel to give solution oriented to that is, I feel we give too much power to the symptoms. Like, we give too much power to the anxiety. Like, it's the things that we speak out of our mouth, the thoughts that a lot of times people don't want to. Okay, for example, I have some people that I can't have conversations with because they don't want to exit the land of trauma.
Ooh.
They want to.
They
just want to steal.
What you say? Yes.
And I can recognize it. So that's the thing that people have to. Okay, I know you have a period of time where you have to, like, I'm going through this. This is what I'm going through. I know that. Like, I have times where I've balled up in the bed and not want to leave the house. I get it. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize that just because you have been comfortable in your pain because you've been dealing with certain things for so long, you still have to make a conscious effort to change that. And that's just what doesn't happen for the most part. But I don't, like you said, we don't never know. I don't know I don't call nobody out, but I understand what you said.
It's a very subjective thing, and having I didn't grow up in a cookie cutter household. I did not. Mm-hmm. My household was dysfunctional. Shout out to mama. Not saying that my mom was
love y'all.
I love y'all. But at the end of the day, it's like I cannot bring I can't bring the things that I went through with my parents or in the household or where, I can't bring that into this. And if I do, at a certain point in life, it should be I bring it over in a healthy way, meaning that I make it better and I don't repeat it. You know what I'm saying? And that is the difference that I see between my generation, let's see, yeah, we in the same generation. I don't know, but that is the difference I see with our generation versus my kids, or the generation that came along afterwards. Because it's like if you want to find a crutch and a reason, you will.
It's there. Yeah.
There are people who actually are abused, like physically abused, like neglected, go hungry, but I'm just one of those people. I feel like if you haven't actually experienced that type thing, you really got a foot up in the game, and you can learn from the mistakes of your parents or whatever, and make it better. All right, that was. Go ahead. No,
yeah. It goes back to responsibility. It's like some people. I always believe that there's generations that are here, just like the ones that were slaves. They were here just to exist for the next generation to get here. A lot of so it's like there's a awakening that's occurring. I feel it's happening. Where you just have to realize, like me and my dad, we had a lot of talks, and we had where it's like the conversations and that's the thing too. People start communicating, and actually, that's why I was mentioned earlier about how the internet is pulling people away from real conversations, the realness, the authenticity, that we need. And so it's like once you have conversations and you start to understand why people make the decisions, and you realize that don't nobody know what they doing. We all just figuring it out.
It's very subjective. It's to each his own. But I digress because
I got you.
The mama in me, the past educator in me will get there and stay there. But we're gonna move on.
I feel you, right? I feel you.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this: who are your inspirations in the music business, in the music industry? And I'm gonna speak specifically to Southern Soul, being that that's the genre that you're a part of or claiming.
So like I mentioned earlier, like Johnny Taylor, like those, which of course blues, it was still kind of considered R&B, Bobby Womack. Those sounds is what I love, make me. But like, of course, I just King George, and here currently, of course, I met Marvin Cease was one of those. Of course, Sir Charles. Sir Charles was the man that you just any cookout at grandma and them house. That's the first music that was coming on. So, but like I said, not
shout out to Sir Charles.
Yeah,
I haven't talked to him since football season. He's a big Eagles fan, but like, okay, gotcha. So Sir Charles, JT, who would you say you kind of pattern your music after?
It's a variety. It's like the base of me is I don't know if you know the Soul Steers from Sam Cooke sung with this, the gospel. The Soul Steers gave me a foundation. As I come up, Bobby Womack, David Ruffin. That's my guy, David Ruffin. And so it leads me just into, when you mentioned Anthony Hamilton, when people do compare me to certain sounds. They'll say Tyrese, Anthony Hamilton. Like here lately, people have been saying Tony Armani. I hear what I heard a Whitney Houston interview where she broke it down. It's like I hear what people are saying, but I also hear what's different about everybody as well. But I know certain people, depending on where their tone of voice is, you're just gonna sound similar. And even me, I pull. I hear stuff in my voice from people that I love that I pulled from. So, but those are some of the guys that make up my sound. Okay. Urban Mystic.
Mm-hmm. Urban Mystic. Yeah. I want to be clear with you and with those who are tapped in right now. Like, when it comes down to voice and sound, that was not, I can't compare you to. That wasn't where I was comparing you.
I'm gonna
tell you. I'm gonna just be shoot straight with you. why I compared you to him, because I was in, excuse me, I was in a shoe store in Houston, and never, me and my person, we were
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and Anthony Hamilton was being played, and I was like, who is that? So when I heard you, that was my thing. Who is that?
That's real.
Type thing. So it's not
Yeah.
a matter of, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
you just necessarily sound like him. It was just one of those voices that kind of grabbed me. And then when you say that you are Southern Soul, then I'm like, okay, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Come on,
real.
we can enjoy you. All right. So where do you want to take this? What do you want to do?
Make good music.
All right. So but that's cool. But
I
what
got
do
it.
you do?
Well, reason why I say good music, because I'm gonna always be connected to the creative side of it. And so, okay, I'll speak to it like this. What I'm doing, where it's going to go, it's going to move up. It's going to, people are gonna recognize me in Southern Soul. They're gonna be like, yeah, he one of them ones. And then they're also gonna watch and see me break down barriers as well, along with those who are already en route of doing so. They're gonna see me do great R&B songs. They might even see me do great country songs. But they're gonna see my voice become one of the pillar voices in music, period.
Do
So
you write?
that's one of my gifts.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Inspires you
Right.
to write.
I was I have a lot of time in places by myself. So my mind had to create. It had to create on its own.
Well, no, because you couldn't have been in the pen if you were in education. So when you said the times by yourself, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm
Okay.
with you. I'm with you. Just as a kid, you just, like I say, I love my family. I love my family. There's just, you just have things that you dealt with where you just had to become. You had to entertain yourself. And so my
Are
imagination.
you an only child?
I have a sister. I have an older sister.
Oh, you said that earlier. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
How
yeah.
many years apart are y'all?
Seven.
Okay, so you kind of were an only child.
Yeah, we had the shoes up out the house at the point where I was coming into a young person. But yeah. So yeah, which like I say, there's no, and it's the beauty of it for me, right? It's like I'm glad my imagination ran wild. And so, and then loving English, I love wordplay, knowing you
What
begin
is
to see how.
your zodiac sign? Like, because you speak in my language. I am an only child. Which my cousin and I were raised together, but I like imagination, creativity. I am a creative. Like I'm serious. I can see this over here, and I swear I can make it into the world. Like,
Yeah.
what is your zodiac sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Okay, so never mind. I know.
I feel you.
Yeah. I was just curious because those type things excite me because I think that I feel like sometimes the world is a little is sometimes void of the people who are just willing to let their creativity flow and excuse whoever on here who don't cuss, but fuck the world if they don't adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of my mindset.
Right. I'm with you. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, no, I love, like I said, I love to create. I love to, like I said, wordplay. Just knowing, like one of those where you can say a word that you can say a sentence and end with a word, and in your mind you can find another sentence and end with a word that rhymes with the last one. I'm beginning to realize that ain't normal. I'm good at that, and so writing is something I pride myself on too.
That's very key to acknowledge, to actually have that thing that goes off that says everybody can do this. everybody can do this, and it's not a knock at anybody, but you wire how you wire. And I didn't realize that until my sister Daylin, she was in school or whatever, and she was taking a communications class, and she's white as white. And she was telling me about how when she would get up in front of the class, she would like like freeze up. And I was thinking to myself, that's a real thing. Something I've never experienced. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can
Yep.
feel nervousness but it don't really move you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
there are people who are not wired to be able to do those type of things. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So do you write for other people, or do you just write for you?
I have wrote for other people. It ain't 2 or 3 people before I wrote. I've wrote a blues song before somebody. Just a couple things, but nothing major.
Who would you say is name me your top three writers in any genre? It doesn't matter.
Babyface.
You better
Um,
speak, boy.
for real. Sam Cooke. And who else? Ooh, I ain't been asked that before. Who else? Mm, I'm gonna say Neo.
That is so crazy because literally I was thinking if he don't say Neo, if he don't say Neo,
Yeah, yeah,
no. When I tell you
Neo.
dynamic,
Yep.
dynamic, you nailed it. Like I don't know a lot about I mean, I know Sam Cooke songs. I don't know a lot about his writing, but when it comes to Babyface and Neo, you can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss.
Yep.
What do you enjoy more? Writing, singing? Do you do any producing?
It used it used to be right. It used to be writing. Like I've always sung, but I had a period in my life where I was like, man, I just want to be a part of music. It's like if I'm just a part of music through writing, shoot, let that be it. So if I'm just can be a great writer one day, cool. But then you got people like, bro, your voice is just different, man. So so I'm singing right, but go
So if
ahead.
I call you and I'm like, Cam, let's say it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Cam, I need you to do blank. You
Yeah.
got to fill in that blank. It could be singing, it could be writing, it could be whatever. If I call you
Mm-hmm.
at 4 o'clock in the morning, I might not even have no money. And I say, hey, I really need you to do this for me. What would you get out of your bed and do? Because it just feeds your spirit. Like, what would you do?
Like you probably be asking for. Well, I mean, sing. They both hand in hand. Like I really like over. And some people will recognize my pen game it's of a different breed, and so but it goes hand in hand with my singing. So if you got me out the bed for the free, you better want a song sung and wrote. You better get, but let me know what you're gonna do with it so we can take care of that back end.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, and I ain't even mad. I'm not even remotely mad. Who would you like to work with in Southern Soul? Whether it's singing, writing, it don't matter. Producer, DJ, I don't care. Who would you like to work with?
I have to say this because I have to say King George because of what really gave me because there's several new guys I've been keeping up with. Q Lee, of course, I'm tapped in with young guy. King George was simply that you hear it and it's like the way it caught on. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do this. It gave more the inspiration I can do this as far as being a part of Southern Soul and making songs that cater to Southern Soul. So I throw KG out there.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, and then we're gonna move on. To Plead the Fifth, and I'll let you out of here. What you Southern Soul? What does that mean to you? What does that embody to Cam?
For me, it just means people need to label something. But Southern Soul is just people's voice. Soul is just these God made soul in these voices. Now, of course, we understand the sounds that are around that make the makeup of a lot of these songs, but Southern Soul is who I am. I am Southern Soul. So that's what it means to me. It means that I have now begun making music that supports what my voice is capable of doing. If that makes sense.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
Sometimes I may throw something out there. You like, I don't know about that one, Cam.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for a particular
Nah, I
answer.
feel you.
I just don't feel like my appetite was satisfied.
I feel you. That's okay.
Okay, so in regard to music, and I'm gonna take it all the way back to when we were brought over from Western civilization. I'm her. So we didn't come if we didn't come with nothing else across the waters and on the ship. We came with our soul and our spirit and our rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in the grand scheme of things, keeping those things in mind, I mean, musically, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? Because you could have honestly, you could be R&B. Well, you said we're not gonna label you, but I'm just saying, like, what does Southern Soul mean to you?
No, it's just comfortability. It's comfortability as far as with the sound of my voice. Even though it's work I got to put in, Southern Soul means that this is a lane that once I've did my part, I'll be received. So Southern Soul means that I have a home that's waiting on me, and I just packed up and I've been on the road headed that way.
So does your upbringing and your because you're from Arkansas, and like I said, I always try to highlight any and everything in the South.
Mm-hmm.
That's great,
Mm-hmm.
and I love your voice. Did that not play a role at all?
It's my
Or
whole.
does it not play a role at all when it comes down to like what how you feel about or how you deem Southern Soul?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I even put it like I'm trying to find a way to say it. Which I mean, to me, how I said it is fine with me. But reason why I say that is because all those things are a part of it, right? So although it's like where I come, small town, perfect
Mm-hmm.
makeup, in the church, perfect makeup, in the male chorus, perfect makeup. Um, even being a male that got out, you know how it is when you with the ladies and you growing up, your ego, all that. So you also
Right.
learn how to talk that talk, and then so all that plays a part into what Southern Soul is for me. Like,
Yeah.
and then funk, and then just the tune, and telling a story. Like I've always been an artist that tell a story.
At the end of the day, it's an energy, and I'm sorry, I
Energy.
probably over talked you, but
No,
like
yeah,
it really is an energy because growing up, I didn't know what Southern Soul was. My daddy listened to blues, my mama not so much. Then she got on she jumped on the bandwagon too or whatever. And but at the end
yeah,
of the day, transition from blues to Southern Soul, it is just a vibe and an energy that you can relate to. No, it's not gospel per se, but it's something that really speaks to your it speaks to your spirit in some aspect, way, shape, form, or fashion. Even if it's just you reminding you of your childhood or your upbringing,
right,
or whatever. So with
right.
that in mind, what do you plan to bring to Southern Soul that will be an asset? And keep talking. I got to plug my computer in, but I'm listening to you. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
let me preference this. It's not speaking down on anything that I heard anything like that. But I will be bringing substance, uh, uh, a solid voice that's unique and substance in my writing. Like I'm gonna make some party songs, but I always like to be creative, and not just meaning I found this cool tagline and a hook that everybody can start saying, which is cool as well. I'm gonna have some of that, but I just know that I'm gonna bring my writing. I mean, that's the thing too. You writing for me ain't necessarily just always putting words together. I still have that '90s R&B vibe of saying something that you kind of still got to think about and make your own interpretation.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And I want to tell you that is a breath of fresh air, particularly, especially in in this genre, and I hope that you stick with it. And I don't care, what comes your way or what opportunities come. Papa he's such a great guy. That's a good guy to link up with, especially if
Yeah.
you're kicking this off. Well, you got stuff that's been out for a while, because I looked at it on your YouTube, and I'm like,
Mm,
okay, and your music is inspirational. You know what I'm saying? It's life, but it gives you kind of that vibe, like, be you. And you actually have a
yeah.
song called "Be Yourself."
Be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
yourself.
Yep.
Which I think you could actually tweak and turn into a kid's song for your classroom. I'm just saying, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it will
They
work. It will.
my last school, it caught wind of my YouTube. They started singing it in class. They would sing it. That's why I be low pro, because sometimes all everything ain't for all, and that's what I as I got older, I'm like, I can make. I always would think like I had to stay a certain way, like because I come from people. When I did hip hop music in high school, I used to have people talking a certain way, like, "Oh, that boy's supposed to sing gospel," and that's it. So I had to get out of that mental space at some point, but I did have to get to now. I'm at a place where now I'm gonna make music. I still make. I still don't make the music that music that you can talk. I don't make vulgar music anyway, but I also be careful because it's some stuff I make. But at the end of the day, they still search. Once they realize, kids are always proud. But my last school, they started finding my music. So I walked in school one day, just be yourself, self. I'm like, oh, that's flattering, which is
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
One
but
thing about
yeah,
kids, honest. So if it's terrible, they'll tell you.
that too, and that's the thing. I'm glad about it.
Oh.
Everybody like Mr. Foster, you can sing, Mr. Foster, you can sing, Mr. Foster. I'm like, okay, cool. But don't go find them other songs. But nah, but yeah.
I think there's a whole market for that too. Honestly, with having producing songs and things.
And them paused on me. Am I still with you? Can y'all hear me?
Let's see.
We back.
Oh my God. This is crazy. I think we're coming back, maybe.
I feel like it.
I hear you. Do you hear me?
It's like I hear it. Soon as you start talking, it kind of robot a little bit.
No, listen. That's when you know you're doing something right, because that made no sense. Like I hadn't moved. Did you move? Did anything? Did you move?
Nope, not
Okay,
at
well
all.
then, yeah,
They said
me
y'all getting
either.
too good. We went an hour. They said y'all getting too good. Y'all get on up out of there.
No, so exactly. It's like somebody need to hear what they need to hear in the time they need to hear. You know what? The devil is a lie.
Right.
We're
It
gonna
sure
keep
is.
rolling, but I'm gonna let you out of here. I want you to tell the people before we're going to plead the fifth. I want you to tell y'all welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes. It's doing it again. You froze. You look into the hills which come at your help. I'm gonna stay on this time and see if it pop up. Cause I'm still here. And you froze. Matter of fact, I'm gonna entertain your audience. Yeah, y'all, I don't know why it froze on her like this. I don't know why it's doing that. You see how the devil do. Yeah. I'm gonna talk to y'all a little bit. So y'all here with us tonight on Southern Komfort Podcast. It's your boy Cameron Foster. I'm gonna keep this party rolling. So right now, the devil is busy. And so I'm gonna just hold y'all, keep y'all entertained for a little bit. Matter of fact, y'all want me to sing something for you? I'm gonna sing something for you. She probably didn't expect me to do this, but I'm gonna go and do it while I'm here. Here we go. Thought she had me hypnotized, like I didn't have control of my mind. Felt like that I was in a daze. Girl, I was speechless and I didn't know what to say. You the real deal, baby. This I know. You're my favorite actress. You're the star of the show. Extraordinary, wonderful, and I just don't know what it is. It must be something in the water that keeps me coming back. Yeah. There must be something in the water. How you do me like that? Could have sworn she put a spell on me. Took me a while before it was clear to see. That's how a good woman can make you feel. Like it's too good to be true. That's when you know it's real. You the real deal, baby. This I know. You're my favorite actress. You're the star of the show. Extraordinary, wonderful. Oh, and I just don't know what it is. It must be something in the water. So yeah, I just gonna sing a little bit because I got my other phone up here, and I see I'm still live. Yeah, I'm still live. So yeah, I'm gonna hold it down, baby. What y'all doing? So I can see the comments on my other phone. She ain't cut the live off yet, so we're gonna be entertained tonight, baby. What y'all like? What y'all want to hear? So yeah, like I'm from Martin. No, but yeah. Anybody got some questions? Talk to me. I'll talk back. Anybody got some questions? Cause this was impromptu, baby. I see you, Q. What's happening with you, big dog? So shout out to Q Lee. Q Lee killing it. For every man that ain't never been throwed, somewhere there's a horse that ain't never been rode. For every man. Hey, shout out to Q. Anybody else on there? Hey, Anna Green. What it do? Annie Green, I'm sorry. What's up, T Money? We got T Money on there. One of my favorite DJs out there, Mr. Hit 'em with the Kick. What's happening with your T Money? Who else we got on there? Yeah. Until she cut that live off, I'm going to keep talking. I ain't got nothing going on right now. Jacqueline Austin, appreciate you, Jacqueline. How you doing? How you doing? What up, Squirt? What it do? What it do, Squirt? Who else we got? Yeah. So, yeah, it's your boy Cameron Foster, all the way from Arkansas, y'all. But now, let me get back serious. I'm just still on here, so I just like to cut up. Because that's the thing, man. Life serious as is, man. So, it's like we got to have fun. That's why I love Southern Soul, because, man, regardless of how somebody may sound, man, everybody having fun. Having fun. Whether you can sing or not, man, we got to have